Are they hot though?
Mine's not hot at all.
Yours is not hot?
No.
Welcome to the Barry Beat Podcast, live from Fly in the Wall Productions, Main Street, Barry, Vermont. With us tonight, we have Raylene and Alice Farrell. Welcome back. A little hiatus.
Yes. Good to have you.
All rested up and ready to go.
All right. Good. Well, you'll be our school board update
Liaison.
person, even though I'm on it.
Yes.
So, just for clarity, because you're like super knowledgeable in that area, so
Yes, she
I'm just a
is.
newbie. So tonight we're expecting lots and lots of fun. We ask people that are watching, click like and share it with your friends. We are gonna probably get into the Wheelock building. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the case. You think so, Raylene?
I'm fairly certain of it, Michael.
Yeah, so am I. We're also going to share some videos, maybe one of JD. And we might also be sharing a couple videos or a video of the
You promised
Easter.
me you'd never show that to anybody. Just saying.
Which one? The JD one?
No. You know which one, Michael.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm completely lost.
We're going to have to put on our tinfoil hats.
Yeah, we're going to have to put on our tinfoil hats. But I'm also going to share some videos of the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, which was pretty awesome. In fact, we could just start right there. I mean, that was pretty awesome. Did you see any videos from that?
I have not seen any.
have
Well,
not?
except for JD's video that he did of the little kids is when they first said go.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So we did have the Easter egg hunt, and of course that was put on by Stephanie Caranta, and also the new person for Barry Town, and I cannot remember that person's name, but I'm just gonna play this video, and it's absolutely adorable. So they turned on the sirens, and all of a sudden, all the kids rush in, and we'll just give it a couple seconds here because there we go, and they go in fast. They're all running around, and you can't see it, but the eggs are like littered all over the playground, and they're all in there. And Mr. Bunny, you can see the bunny. He's walking around in the back room there, or back row. It's like there. I think you can see it. And they had a lot of fun. It was quite interesting to see that. We can show a couple other pictures, but
Now you did all this with
the drone.
With the drone.
Yeah,
Which is so awesome.
It was. Stephanie asked me to go take some pictures, and so I went there and took some pictures. Now, do you ever get
lower? Can you do that?
Oh yeah, I can get lower, but because of the fact that they're little children, I didn't want to get too low. Mm-hmm. And there was, I did have a problem. I ran into something on one of my videos.
Whoops.
I will say I was pretty impressed that I did not lose complete control. I mean, you could see, I thought for sure it was gonna destroy the drone, and it's $1,000 drone. Mm-hmm. And it was before the egg hunt, so Stephanie would not have gotten the video, and I would have felt really terrible.
Well, it's awesome that you do this. It's nice that you do this.
And it was such a beautiful day. You couldn't ask for anything better.
It was pretty chilly, actually. It was pretty chilly. I'm not going to lie.
But the sky was blue and it was clear.
It was.
We're hoping that you're going to come back for Bikers for Beth again this year.
Oh, of course I will. Absolutely. And then I took some video of the other kids over there. You can't see it, folks, but I didn't go over people. It looks like I did, but I didn't, because you're not supposed to. So I may have gone over somebody, but it was not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a fun day. Great turnout. Lots of folks were there, and it's one of those community things that is pretty awesome. I think it's the 37th. I think it was the 37th Easter egg hunt.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, I used to take my kids way back when.
Yeah. So.
I mean, my oldest is 33.
So yeah, it was probably the 37th Easter egg hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right. It's pretty good. Stephanie puts it on. The rec association in Barre Town is involved. So I know that I saw Carol up there. I can't remember her last name now. That's
Carol
terrible.
Hebert?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Carol Hebert.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. And of course, Chief Vale was up there with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And we did
no Bernie Sanders.
No Bernie Sanders was up there. Yeah, no, but JD was, and because of that, I felt obligated to seek revenge on him for poor Bernie. I mean, I shouldn't say poor Bernie because, I'm not a Bernie bro. I'm really not. But I'm also like one of those people that believe that, maybe you shouldn't be mean to people. So I did. I don't
think he was mean, though.
No, but I'm just saying that when you come in hot and heavy on somebody, it's not okay. Granted, Bernie Sanders should know, like, he should be, the minute that happens, he should be like, well, hello, I like my pudding.
Yeah.
Do you have pudding? That being said, I can sympathize with him, people coming in hot and heavy. And I saw JD show up. So I'm like, I pull out my handy dandy cell phone and I start recording. And
you rushed him.
I rushed him like immensely and came hot and heavy on him. Although JD's a ham and he hammed it up, and so didn't Cheryl.
Of course he did.
So, yeah. And I posted the video, and folks can watch it on Barry Beat podcast. Yeah. So it's JD. He enjoyed it. He did enjoy it.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
He thought it was hysterical.
So it's all good. It's all good. Whatever.
But now he's threatening retaliation.
I will say that would be a very unwise decision.
And I think it involves a glitter bomb or something.
Again, very unwise decision on his behalf. If he wanted to do that, he may find out that you play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and I'm not going to lie.
Are you like calling him out?
I'm like saying, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I wasn't, that was just an example of, poor Bernie.
Right.
Showing
That
Bernie,
wasn't even Billy Badass Michael.
No.
No.
Let me just tell you something. If he wants to play stupid games, he will win stupid prizes.
Because you can be uncivil.
Yes, and in my mental health state that I'm in,
just saying.
He may not want to say anything.
I'm just saying.
Gotta love it. Mental health state.
So is this the battle of the podcasters?
Well, JD's a podcast.
You want me to say it?
I want you to say it.
You can say it. A podcast bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Love it.
Michael saves all the cussing for me.
I do.
Yeah.
FAFO. But yeah, so good luck with that there. Hopefully it doesn't go any further, but if it does, I can certainly up the ante. I know how to do that. I upped the ante in these several emails. Do a FOIA. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so moving on to the task at hand, which is City Council tomorrow night. Woohoo!
Yes.
I'm actually kind of glad. So we're going to be discussing the Wheelock building,
amongst other things too.
Oh yeah,
there are
absolutely.
other things on the agenda, but this is something that is very important to many, and something that's very dear to your heart, especially because you are the liaison for the partnership.
Yep.
And so, yes, we put more specific, sight to this subject.
Yeah,
and even though it's in the city, that particular building has a lot of meaning for a lot of people who live all over the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just Barre City, Barre Town, maybe a little bit of Montpelier, a little bit of Williamstown. There are people all over the country who are interested in that building.
that is a Wildersburg building, which is the original name for Barre in general. But yeah, it is a very special building. I was very much against selling it. In fact, I was very angry that we were selling it. Unfortunately, I was outvoted by far.
Can we back up a little bit?
Sure.
How did the city acquire that building?
So we, back in 2014, and I actually looked up the title and I sent it to Raylene last night, I think it was. I was having a hard time figuring out how to look up the titles. But it was 2014. We acquired it from the Barre Senior Center, the Barre Area Senior Center, Senior Citizens. I can't remember the exact name. They vacated the building and deeded it a quitclaim deed over to the city for us to maintain it. I mean, obviously it was so that it would be preserved. And unfortunately the city just didn't have the money to put the work that's really needed into it. Cause we need to put like $200,000-$300,000 of work into that building.
And unfortunately that's where it stands and always will.
Correct.
So
well, not
it
necessarily.
does,
I would take out.
well,
I
with
would
the
put
city,
it on the
it does with the city, but even if you put it on the ballot, unless you're going to turn it into affordable housing, we know that the money's probably not going to go to it. We were willing to put that kind of money into the old Ward 5 building easily enough.
Yeah.
But, maybe that money could have been better served here, and the city could have used it for office space or something, or made money with it somehow. It could have been more of an investment and an improvement for sure. But that didn't happen. So now we're where we're at with it.
Yeah.
And and if it was just put on the ballot, more than likely the taxpayers weren't going to be willing to give up that kind of money to restore it either. I mean, if they did, then we would have a DPW building that wasn't in shambles. I mean, so that's really the whole picture. I mean, you have to be honest about it.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that the citizens of Barre would pay to have it refurbished and restored. I really do believe that, because there's a lot of love for that building. I mean, it is like iconic in our downtown Barre. I mean, it's just it's just there.
It is.
I
agree that people have a lot of love for it. I agree that they do. And I just would worry that people also have a lot of love for their wallet right now, and things are really, really freaking tough.
Going to show folks that I'm sure everybody that's watching knows what we're talking about, but I am posting it here so that people can see the Wheelock building. And I will zoom back to you guys, because now I'm going to go find the actual original picture, because I do have that picture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, it really, it needs to go. It needs to make. We need to make sure that it is historically preserved the way that it should be, and that's not an easy. That's not easy.
No.
It's very much not easy, and it's so expensive, just so expensive. But you got to do it. You got to do it. And here's the original building with the original windows. I mean, it's a gorgeous building, and of course the Wheelock House is on the left side. The Wheelock Building is on the right side. Just for we colloquially call it the Wheelock House, but it's actually the Wheelock Building, because the Wheelock House was torn down, sadly.
And it's interesting because I grew up on the New England coast, and when we first moved to Barre, I'd drive by it and I'd say, I wonder why it looks like a Coast Guard station, that little building there, and started to take an interest in it. And it really has a very interesting history as well.
Yeah.
And, it started out law office. And so it's just very interesting. And I've seen those pictures. Those windows in the front are just stunning, the original windows. And it really would be terrible. That would be a terrible loss to the city if anything happened to it.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the two bidders, they both love the building, so it's definitely it. I can't imagine anything terrible happening to it in the possession of either one. The thing that I like about the partnerships is that we have our fingers in it. And, where we as a community are, we still have huge ties, obviously. I mean, we fund large majority of the partnership's budget. So we would have a say, right? And then there's other clauses in the bid that they did that would also make it so that our clause are deeper. I don't want to say clause. That's not a good.
No,
but
Your interests, the city's interests.
Yes, we maintain a lot of
interest in it. Yes.
So yeah, that'll be tomorrow night. It will be executive session from 5 to 7, and then at 7:00 they're going to have the public presentation, and they're going to be about 15 minutes long. So folks need to come and watch that. And if you have a specific one that you want to support, it doesn't, it really, this really shouldn't be, whatever. The point is that you'll have that opportunity to see their presentations and, see what they do. I know that,
because I have a question, but because the municipality is selling it, it isn't really like a routine real estate sale. It's not like you buying a house. You buying a house from me because. Is there anything there statutorily or ordinance wise?
We listed it like a normal building. So, and I think and I tried to get everything released, but the comment was, we don't want to because we want to be able to make a counter offer. So we'll see how that goes. I just love that building.
When the city sold Hill Street not all that long ago,
yep,
they were very, very specific about, we don't want that building to go without somebody having a plan that this is what's going to happen. And, they were pretty stuck on that's the way it would, because they didn't want it to just sit empty even longer and longer and longer. And I would hope that they would feel the same way about this, that the plan would mean and be worth just as much, if not more, than the dollar amount. And I would hope that was the case here too. And I don't know. Hope. It just doesn't seem, and I'm not against the other bidder. coming to the city at all, come. I just think that there are better places, that there are already places that are very well suited to what they want to do. And so why couldn't we have 2 places that weren't vacant? That would mean that they were somewhere and the partnership was somewhere, and the partnership had the opportunity to do more things with that building and make it the use of the building more than just a storefront.
Yeah, it's that's a rough building for what they're looking for.
I can imagine the money that they would have to put in that to make it a restaurant, or
there's no parking there,
and to make it safe for a kitchen. It's old. I mean, it is old. I just can't imagine the upgrades that would need to be made, and so
we'll see.
And then you got to try to make enough money to make back what you've invested, and
it's going to be rough. Soups and Greens is available.
The Brazilian Steakhouse is available.
Oh, right.
The old L&M Diner. The
L&M
Mingle
Diner's burned down.
Yeah, but the Mingle nightclub, that had a kitchen in it. They were serving food in there, and there are spaces in the downtown that are already suited for that sort of business.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. But folks can watch, and of course it will be online. You can watch and.
But please don't comment from the Zoom. If you are, just know that if you participate via Zoom, you cannot use the chat function during council. The chat function is only to report a problem if the sound is a problem, things like that. Yep. You cannot use the chat function during a council meeting to state your opinion. If you want to state your opinion, you need to email it ahead of time or be in person, please.
And you can use the chat function here, like Linda Kuchar did,
you
where
can.
she said, haha.
Yes.
So drop a comment in there and say hello.
Yes. And I believe that we, I questioned whether or not you could possibly, or somebody could possibly print out all of the comments on the posts that were made on the city community fan page, no matter whom they're for. I'm saying all comments, and submit those as well as letter of support for either side.
I should probably do that.
I think so.
But it's available. It's all public record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do things in the secret. I just put it out there.
Right.
And that pisses people off.
Well,
you wouldn't know if I was doing something behind the scenes.
But if they would like to, know how people have, I feel like the people that have commented there for a reason. They feel a security and an ability to comment there where they don't necessarily feel that somewhere else.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say that, people do watch that page. So
it seems to be of people of all sides.
Correct.
Watch that
contrary
page,
to some comments that I've heard. So to be clear, this podcast is absolutely opinion driven and is, I would say, center right, because everybody knows where I am, and same thing with Alice and Raylene. You kind of are more in the center, So, but the Barre City Community fan page, not so much.
I think my biggest concern with the municipality doing business like this is that it needs to be done right. That's the important thing. And because it is a reflection on the community and the way the community is governed, and it has to be done according to Hoyle. That's the biggest thing, because as soon as you start futzing around and with bending the rules, you're just completely off track, and you can never recover from that.
Yep. All right, so let's move on. We've spent 25 minutes on that.
I have something.
Sure.
Raylene and I talked a while back about people who do things and never want any kind of accolades or anything for it. They're not look at me people. And we thought it would be a good idea to actually find some folks and have people from the community tell us who might be one or two or all of those people who do that. And so this period of time, I think, is a good time to point out that we've really had an experience where there were a lot of good people. And so I invented this award. And this is the award. This is the Golden Balaclava. And this is for people who don't necessarily want to be out in the public. They like to be behind the scenes and all of that. And this week, we had a really big experience with a lot of people who were behind the scenes but did a lot of good things, and those were the first responders at the fire. So they get the Golden Balaclava Award for this month because we had 5 fire companies, we had police agencies, we had all kinds of volunteers, and nobody was trying to outdo one another. They just stepped up and did their job. And I think that's really important that those folks get recognized because we don't know who those people were from Berlin or Williamstown or East Montpelier who came over, but without them, it could have been a catastrophe.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to point that out. And having had experience in a past life with having to be at fires with an ambulance corps, it's not easy. And if you've ever washed your car and you know what it's like to spray the hose for half an hour to wash your car, imagine spraying that hose for hours and the temperature of that water. And once your gloves get wet,
And the pressure.
there's no going back once your gloves get wet. And that's the whole thing. So I just wanted to point out that just how much we value those folks that all came to help us during this.
Absolutely.
Golden Balaclava. the
All right.
reward.
So we'll jump on to the consent agenda. And it looks like we've got ratification of the American Legion, their coin drop for August 5th. Then we're going to ratify the application for AARP micro grant for community gardens. So that's the community garden in Elmwood. I don't know if any of you have been up there. So they're expanding it. Apparently there's 11 people that use the community garden and there's a wait list. But there's currently 11 and I think 4 or 5 of them are sharing. So this micro grant would be about $2,400. And it's gonna, make additional plots
Nice.
next to the cemetery, plots for gardening,
For gardening.
not for those other kind of plots. Then we've got the 2023 local emergency management plan. That's really just administrative. It's a really large plan, like 20-30 pages of things that, it has like daycares in there for emergency purposes where you can go to school, or not go to school, but where the schools have how many people they can have in their gymnasium and stuff like that. So yeah, not very big of a deal. And then we've got authorized application for passive safety training grants. The training will allow for certified ADA coordinator, which if you look at the emergency management plan, it actually lists Rick as that ADA person, or maybe no, it's the appointments. Never mind. So yeah, and then Society for Human Resource Management, and I don't know what the heck that is. So let him.
Well, you're
enjoy it.
going to find out.
True. I'm probably not going to find out.
And since we're talking all about this, before I forget, I want to make sure that we need to start making sure that we hammer this more and that we remind people every time we're live that the revote for this school board is going to be coming up soon.
Yes.
And the revote in Barre City will not take place at the auditorium. It will take place at the old Labor Hall, which is on Granite Street, and it will be same hours, 7 to 7, but not at the old Labor Hall. And it is May 9th.
Yep. And they, in the infinite wisdom of the school board, they changed the wording. I'm just going to say it because it really pisses me off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
Say I'm going to
angry.
start posting it like crazy anyway, so you might as well say it.
We changed the wording to make it look, because it says 5% increase, which sounds less than what it did during the March one.
Right, but it's not
it's
true.
It's not true. And it should have said 10.6 increase in per pupil spending. And I pointed it out, and you can read the Times Argus. It to me it felt deceptive. And that's
because it is.
I know.
It didn't
made
feel
me very
deceptive,
angry.
Michael. It is deceptive.
Yeah, it should not. We changed the wording midstream, and we shouldn't have done that, but sadly we did. That was a split vote. I was very disappointed by that vote.
Yeah,
but
it is deceptive, but it's not shocking that it's happening. Truthfully, it's disgusting,
alone,
but it's
that alone could fail that budget. And and I made the comment before, when you play
silly games.
Okay. I was going for another word, with the budget. When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's the same thing with the budget. They should not have gone out of their way to fail that budget.
Yeah.
Was it the budget that I would have gone with? No, I've said it multiple times. I would have done, let's go halfway between each other.
You wanted 3 point something, correct?
3.5, so that we got everybody on board to support the budget, right? And that's not what happened. We went 1.5. That was the majority of the board, and they should have.
And then the school board at that time wanted how much?
54 million.
50, yeah, and we're up to
Approximately 54 million.
And now they're
57.
asking how much?
57, yeah.
57.
Yeah.
So
they've increased it.
The grand total has increased, and as a result of that, the per pupil spending has increased. And there's some question as to whether or not the surplus will increase.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's...
I will say this
So
about the per pupil thing. The next time somebody talks to me about the per pupil and how we don't spend money for the per pupil, I'm going to throat punch them. I'm just
my gosh.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to throat punch them. I'm just going to throat punch anybody that talks about the per pupil. Because I was talking to somebody from Montpelier, which I think their per pupil is higher than ours, and they don't have wrestling. They don't have wrestling. So what does that tell you? It's a numbers. It's a numbers issue. Straight up numbers. We have so many children that the per pupil goes down, and people need to understand that. Plus, the state does this weird formula, which is beyond
the funding formula.
Yeah, the funding formula is cuckoo cuckoo with a whole bunch of bats.
So
it's geometry, trigonometry, and a little bit of calculus.
Yeah, and then fuzzy math
and a whole lot of stupid.
I'm sorry. My poor dog.
Put the bench on her.
No, it's JD's
drill.
Oh dear.
Yep. Okay.
Poor
Sorry,
baby.
folks. I have my puppy here, and
Yes.
she was laying down all happy until I dropped the stupid drill. Anyway, so moving on, we've got...
well, don't move on,
no?
because explain what the deception... Use the word that they use, please. Use the language so that people know what they're looking for in language.
Yeah,
so it does not say per pupil anymore.
It does not.
It
says the budget increase of 5%. So just be prepared. That's what it says. I know, you need to sit down.
And doesn't it say per something else, or didn't they use another word?
No, it just says the increased budget of 5%.
Okay.
Okay, totally scared her. And now she's like,
Very
stirring.
upset.
you know. But anyway. All right. So,
But I think we
authorize.
also, when you talk about the school budget, and this is very close to my heart, when you talk about the school budget, the community are the investors in the school. That they're putting their money, their hard-earned money, into the school. What are our children and the community getting for it? So for a 10% increase in per student spending, for a 5.5% increase for whatever the increase sugars out to be for the increase in taxes after you get done with the municipal budgets and raises in water rates and all those things that come with it at this season of the year. Can we expect a 10% increase in student achievement? Is that too much to ask? That we get something to show for this investment in our students? I'm really in favor of that. I mean, I'm really truly in favor of having some kind of a contract with the community that if we are going to pay this amount of money, what do we expect back from it from the school? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important. I mean, that's just the way it is. And my example is you want to paint your bathroom green. So you go to the paint store and you pick out the color green, and they put a blob of blue, a blob of yellow, and maybe a little bit of blob of red, and they mix it all up. And when you get home, you expect to open the can and find green paint. Mm-hmm. When we put all this into the school, what are we getting for it? Mm-hmm. Show us. Give us the reports. Where are the kids now? Where do we expect them to be next year at this time? What is the community going to get for its investment in these students? That's all I'm asking. And I would ask that whether I was out on the street or in the library. But that's what I want to know. What are we going to get for this increase in finances?
All right. Can't answer that.
I know,
So
nobody can answer it, but the school needs to answer it. The school needs to step up. The school administrators, we're not Chittenden County. We can't pay Chittenden County salaries. So let's just look at who we have in this community, thank those people for supporting the schools, which they have done so well in the last couple of years with doing that. So be thankful for that, but let's work together on this and show us what the community is going to see in their students for this investment.
All right. Back to city council business.
Yes. Sorry, get carried away, but
No.
it's what it's
So
dear to me.
we're
Yeah,
going to
it needs
be
to be said.
authorizing the execution of the contract with Sullivan and Powers. They are our auditors. They've been our auditors for several years. We did go to a different auditor for 3 years, but city staff didn't want to do that again, so we went right back. Connie, can you explain that question for me, please? She wrote in the comments, and if that isn't met, so if you could just give me explain the question. So the cost is going to be for 2023. It's going to be $27,000, 2024, $28,000, then 2025, $29,000, which is not crazy. So then we're going to accept the transit oriented development grant. It could be up to $100,000. Up to 12 communities were eligible, and we were one of them.
Nice.
And it's going to improve opportunities for convenient public transportation services, more walking and biking and stuff like that, and to help us to create a plan and regulations to implement that. Approval of amendments to staff and committee appointments. So we had that conversation about the committees, and now we're just codifying it and approving it, because there were some things that need to be done. And we're appointing Nicholas as the city representative to the board of Prospect Heights Development.
Nice.
I wonder, did did somebody we know was the president of that? Do you know who that is? Do you know who the president of the Prospect Heights Board is? I mean, maybe. Do you think it might be somebody that's, you would think it would be somebody in, I don't know, a high position.
Mm-hmm. You would think.
You would think.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tom, though. It was Tom Lozon. He was appointed. I think he was appointed the president. Wasn't it him? I'm pretty
thought
sure
it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So, yeah. So there's that. That's pretty awesome, and it's going to be good to have Nicholas on there. He's a really good guy.
He is a good guy.
I like
he
him.
was down at the fire too. He spent a lot of time down there that day. It was, he making sure that he talked to everybody, and he knew what was going on and what was happening with the water and who was doing this and who was doing that. He was right on top of things down there.
Nicholas is a really awesome guy.
Yeah, super hands-on, and it's great to have him.
Yeah, he's trying to grow a beard.
He is. I'm.
He's not going to get here. This is not going to happen. He's not going to
I
make it.
don't know that.
He's not going to
That's
make
the
it.
look that Nicholas is going for. Although he does miss his hair, and he admitted that to us. Remember when the poor guy got his hair cut off, and he thought he was only getting a little bit cut off, and it didn't quite go that way.
He'll get used
What is
to
that bright light that keeps shining behind me, like into the window?
I thought I saw a light, but
Like
it's like a blue light,
doing
right?
that? Yeah,
I do not know, but I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't know either, but it's a little bit unnerving. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought it was a police officer.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a little bit like every once in a while it just is like spotting in here.
Sketchy person, whoever it is that's shining the light, stop.
Stop it.
I love Nicholas. He's great, and it's interesting. I'm glad that he was down there. It goes to show that that happened, right? So, and I know Tom was down there, but for obvious reasons.
Right, for obvious reasons.
I'll say this with Tom: when he was mayor, he would have been
there too.
Single fire,
Right?
Every
he would have
single
been
fire,
there too.
and he was down there for every single.
And then he
one.
would go up to the radio station and pound on the door until they let him in to talk. That's how he originally met JD.
He doesn't have the pound on the door here. Just comes in anytime he wants. We'll get him on.
Let me in. I'm talking right now. Yeah. Someday. I know. Someday.
Yeah,
I have the magnet all ready for my car. I'm just saying.
So now that they have a Prospect Heights coordinating committee, whatever, what is it called? The Prospect Heights.
It's called Prospect Heights.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get MA in here and now Tom to give us a little information on that and maybe go through
the
a big
latest
thing.
update and
I'll
we
have
heard
to-
a little bit about it before March, when all kinds of other things were going on. But to get the details would be great.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea because, as aging in place is one thing, but there are folks, and including some of my neighbors where I live in Barrytown, who have recently sold their homes and gone to live in what might be considered adult communities. And but if you have an opportunity to have not a tiny house, but a smaller, livable, manageable house that's very close to the city. I mean that, and my dream would be to have a bus route that goes up there to do that, because there are lots of good examples from all over the nation of having that kind of a centralized community where mixed groups of families and single people and elders can all live together and be close to services. It's just wonderful, and so I see that as a huge development and a huge benefit for this Barre area.
Yeah, for sure. We're lucky.
We're on the move here.
So we are going to we're going to finally approve the strategic plan, which whatever.
How many
Michael,
years?
do you have
how
a
many
shitty
years?
attitude tonight?
I have a crappy attitude about a strategic plan when a city council could turn over within 1 year, and the strategic plan can change just like that.
Right. Right.
But that's okay. Whatever.
The important thing
then-
is, though, is you don't want it to become a shelf item. That here we wrote the strategic plan, and now we're going to put it on the shelf. And
Yeah, there's some
say that we
things on
have
that
one.
strategic plan I'd like to put it on the shelf. So with
Okay, I
that,
stand corrected.
And that was Michael's nice way of
that
putting
was-
it.
yes, that was. Tom would agree with me on some of those comments. So we are going to be increasing the fees. There's some fees that we do this annually. We increase fees.
Which I didn't think any of the fee increases were excessive, unreasonable. I didn't think that when that was the case.
No. I will say this, that it's a ticket of $23 for someone using the EV space without charging. But if you use the EV space and charge, I think the regular ticket price is $12. So I'm not going to lie to you. If you're using an EV space and you're not paying for it, I think we should charge you $100. You have an electric vehicle, you can afford it. With that, moving on to I get so annoyed with the electric vehicles.
No, really?
I get really pissy about it because
You mean the electric car people?
yes, the electric car people. It really makes me angry. Only because like your average individual can't afford an electric car, and we make all these like huge concessions for the EV cars, and meanwhile, you know, the single mother who's trying to get money to fill her refrigerator, it's just whatever. Wow. Okay, moving on. Approval of the 23-24 paving bid and assignment undersigned fund balance. So what we're doing is there's a $1 million planning program for 2023-2024. We're going to go with Fresh Coat asphalt services. We're taking $125K from the fund balance to help with that.
And what are they going to do?
We're going to be doing so. I'll do so. So the 2023-2024 paving program. Warren Street, beginning at the end of Plain Street at Warren Street, from the lower Warren Street to the line along. So Warren Street, Merchant Street, Nelson Street, Newton Street, Woodland Drive, Midland, Pleasant, River Street, South Main, something else, and Allen Street and Beckley are all being affected. Folks, if you want to see,
And they will do all of them, or does that get...
it's portions of it, but if you want to see the details of it, you have to go to the city packet, which can be found on barrycity.org. If you want the packet emailed directly to you, email me, and I will put you on my list and email the packet out to you. And if there's any comments that I want to make, I'll certainly let you know.
So my question is, so is that one company doing all of those streets, or is there several different companies to do that much paving work?
It's one company.
One company.
One company. We're contracting with one. And we're almost done, and I'm surprised. Let's see. So we're going to be discussion of letter to the governor regarding GMT service cuts, which I didn't see that in there. I might have missed it, but I didn't see it in the packet.
I didn't see it in the packet either.
It's hard when I'm having a struggle with
I
this
thought we
one
did
now.
that last time.
This has been up multiple times, and I'm struggling on this one. I'm having some struggles with it. I'm not going to lie. One of the reasons why I'm struggling with it is, you've got the people that are, this is their job, right? And people always talk about, you've got to go with the people with the experience who's paid to do things. And the issue is that they don't have drivers. And, browbeating them, I'm wondering if that's really going to do any good. And on top of that, I don't, not a lot of people are coming forward saying that they've been affected by this. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. So, but that being said, we're going to discuss the letter, and then of course we're going to do set dates for ward barbecues, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, are you going to cook on the Traeger?
Ooh, I could. So I got to tell you how this came about, because it's being put off as the mayor's doing this, but the mayor is just globbing on to something that I started. And it wasn't me that started it because it was actually Brandon Batham who made the recommendation to have ward meetings. And we did that, but Teddy and I, we were like, that's boring. Let's do a barbecue. And we had Lucas Herring come and grill, and it was kind of cool, and we didn't have a lot of people show up, but we had a few. And it was nice, but I don't know. It's one thing for me to say, hey, I want to do a barbecue and I'm going to buy the meat and everything else. Another thing for someone that I'm not particularly friendly with to tell me that that's what we're going to do. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not we're going to have to fork out the money on that. So, which, whatever. I get a little irritated by this.
Yeah, it should be your own choice whether or not you do that.
Yeah. So set those dates.
I'm just going to assume you know more about what's in your wallet than he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And vice
Because
versa.
I don't make as much. But all that being said, that was really, I should go back and delete that.
Why? I mean, it's truth. It's just, it's kind of like the award that we're talking about down here. There's some people that, really deserve these sorts of things and recognition for things. But if you don't, and then in this instance, it's people saying, oh, I did this or I did that, but that didn't really. And so,
Well,
it's okay. We all say shit sometimes, Michael.
yeah.
And it's an opportunity to get out there. And who was it? It was Lyndon Johnson that used to have to get out there and press the flesh. So it's an opportunity for you to meet with your constituents.
Right.
This is true.
But in whichever way you choose, you don't necessarily have
For
to.
the record, I just want to be clear. I made that comment. That wasn't me saying that I don't want to meet with folks.
Right.
I got a little nipped when
somebody tells you how you're going to meet with folks.
Yes. That's what it is. When you force it upon me, it kind of like, it makes me feel like, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a few counselors that I'll just say this. I have a lot of connections out there, and a lot of it is through Facebook. There's no doubt. I have the Barre City Community fan page. I'm very active on that because that's my page. And I do this podcast, soliciting, people to talk, and so whatever. Anybody can call me anytime they want. I get phone calls once in a while. Not enough. Nobody loves me. Anyway.
Good Lord.
With that,
I wish I had my violin.
I know, right? Do you guys have anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to remind people that if, we'd love to hear from you tomorrow evening.
How would you feel about doing a live, have people call in?
What do you mean?
Like, have people call in on the show?
When?
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
We can do that anytime.
I know. You know what? Pop in the comments, folks, as you're listening. How would you like to be able to call in and put your comments?
Instead of comment?
Yeah.
Instead of type your comment?
Yeah.
To talk instead?
Let us know. Because I'm thinking about this. Maybe we'll have a special night
everybody already has my phone number, and everybody can get your phone number. So they're both public, very public numbers. It's not like we would be sharing anything that we haven't already. So
good point.
Call in and
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I said I'm hungry.
You're hungry. You're always hungry.
I want to go.
It's Menu Monday at Gusto's.
Yeah. Oh, it's what?
Menu Monday.
What's Menu Monday?
Buy one thing, get the second half off. It's buy one, get one on every single thing on the menu at Gusto's.
It's unfortunate that it's 8:55.
Oh, yes. In 5 more minutes, you cannot order food anymore.
Sad. All right. Well, you guys, thank you for watching.
Always fun.
Thank you for coming in. For those that are watching, thank you for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions. And we will see you next Monday.
Have a great night.